Hey there, this is Concierge Joanna. On rare occasions I do these very lengthy editorials, and I'll try and keep this brief. I do believe everything I've written in the post that I've included below, but with the Oval Office President-elect's designation of certain people to the inner circle, I really had to add a tagline. I think it's important. I don't believe anybody who voted for anybody is lacking in intelligence. I just think that certain people are better at marketing campaigns, and believe me when I say it is a marketing campaign. And now we've gotten to a point where we've got some people in the inner circle that are truly frightening, and that are frightening everyone in the country and around the world. I do believe in being an optimist, and I do try very hard to see the best possible glass half full scenario, but it's very, very difficult. People who live without impulse control end up living in a society that is full of anarchy and full of chaos. What is happening now is we have several people who truly have the lack of impulse control that a 12-year-old little boy would have. And it can start with the delusion of ever going home again. We can't go back in time. I'd love to be 20 again. I'd love it to be 1975. Things were great. People had money. They could travel freely. You can't go back. There's no such thing as going home again. You can only evolve. You can only move forward. And as for the true robber baron mentality of the 20th century, all of those men who were called robber barons for a good reason, because their fortunes were made off the backs of everyone else, whether it was the Native American, the African slaves, the Chinese immigrants, and all the immigrants who came after. There is no such thing as someone who makes a fortune with somebody else not suffering as a result. The corruption that you think you saw in previous administrations, we've now given the keys to the kingdom for them to promote their wares and their jewelry and their golf courses on a government website. This is terrifying. But just for an example, to see what would happen if everyone walked around hurling insults and saying what they thought and punishing people and threatening people if they didn't hear or see what they like. Let's just take that inner circle. Do they really, really believe, are they that delusional to believe that the women who were intimate with them actually found them attractive? Let's see. We've got the ex-head of Fox, who is quite simply a bald, double-chinned blob. Call it what it is. Then we've got the ex-mayor, who's got those horsey teeth and that bald head and that humpy back, and who, by the way, alerted his wife that he wanted a divorce in a newspaper article. Then there is the president-elect, who has an orange spray tan. You would think with that kind of money he'd be able to get a makeup artist to do a little better. And there's that turkey waddle hanging over the collar of his shirts. And then finally, the person who prompted this video, the Chief Strategist. And you'll notice I won't use their names. That would be a measure of respect, and quite frankly, I don't have any. The Chief Strategist looks like he hasn't taken a bath in quite some time. And I really don't want to hear how brilliant he is. I have an IQ of 168, and I bathe every day. And before I get on camera, I actually put a little makeup on and brush my hair. His hair is filthy. His face is unshaven. His body is overweight and dumpy. And he's been known to be violent with his exes. These are all things of public record. These are not Facebook false plants. The things that I mentioned in the post below, I worked for the president-elect's company when I was in New York. These are true things that have happened to real people. So do you want people in power who are delusional about their own sense of grandeur, about their own sense of, if I don't like it and I don't see it and I don't approve of it, you can't have it? Do you really want to give the keys to the kingdom to people who will not allow anyone else to exist? Which is now, we are the majority. The women, the African Americans, the immigrants, we're the ones who built the country, and we outnumber the old guard, as I will call them, for lack of a better description. But my hashtag's going to be no robber barons. These are people who are not looking out for you. And listen, I get the allure of dating somebody younger and attractive. I'm 61, and in this year I've dated a very charming 24-year-old, and I'm dating an extremely elegant African American who's in his late 40s. But we don't seek each other out because we think we're going to get a free ride. We seek each other out because we're curious and because we love differences and great conversations, and we love inventing things and discovering things and learning things from each other. This is how you move forward. So I really, really hope everybody takes a good long look. If you say nothing in this culture that we have now of bullying, now that we have an official bully in the White House and other bullies surrounding him, then you'll be part of the evil. This looks very much all over the world like what happened before World War II with the rise of fascism. I understand you're angry. I'm angry too. I'm part of the working poor now. I'm not an upper middle class, privileged little white girl. But you know what? There is great joy in the things that I've learned and great joy in continuing to work, even though I'm going to have to. It's not only a choice. But for God's sake, in these United States, we cannot move backwards. We can only move forwards. First I was afraid, I was petrified, kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong, and I grew strong, and I learned how to get along. I will survive, I will survive, just as long as I know how to love. I know I'll stay alive. I've got all my life to give, and oh, so much to give. I will survive, I will survive, I will survive. God bless my country. If you see bullying, if you see aggression, stand up and say something. We cannot go backwards. Don't let the robber barons win. They built their empires off of our backs. We are all immigrants in this country. And I hope to God, from my rainbow collection of friends, lovers, and people that I've had the privilege to meet and date and do business with, that everyone will stand up and say stop if they see these things happening. And let's see what happens in the next 6 months, because I don't think there's going to be anything good in it for the great bulk of the American people. Thanks so much. This is Concierge Joanna. Take care, and God bless these United States.